In many ways, Kendrick Lamar is the second coming of Denzel Washington. They come from different mediums, different generations, yet the parallels between them are so striking that they feel almost cosmic.
Okay.
Both men were shaped by environments where chaos lived just outside their front doors.
I grew up in New York, you know, and I grew up with a pretty rough crowd. Most of my friends from that time are dead or in prison. And
when I was 13 years old, I sold dope, sold reefer. I was shooting dope at 13 years old. I ain't no killer, but I grew up with killers. I've seen people killed. I was with a couple of them the night they got killed.
But he had something his friends didn't.
I did talk about my 3 closest friends, and they did, you know, 15 to 25, one did 28. I was the only one of the 3 that had a father in my life.
Kendrick's youth was eerily similar to Denzel's.
I was out there with in the streets with the homies. I mean, you're growing up with them, you're gonna hang with them, and you're gonna get into shit at the end of the day.
My partner talking to me, speaking on the story how I was there, you know, when his brother passed, and I got to watch him take his last breath.
And again, like Denzel, he was the only one in his circle with a present father.
I was probably the only one in America with an actual active father in his life, or at least in Compton. What they didn't have, what I had, was somebody say, all right, you bumped your head, now you see what happened? You in the back of a police car. See what happened? You at the station. Nobody was telling them that, so they'll keep doing it over and over again.
Kendrick, like Denzel, survived because his parents gave him guidance when he most needed it.
And my mother decided it was best to get me out of there before I ended up where a lot of my friends are now.
Denzel's father was a practical, simple man. All he wanted was for his son to get a secure job and earn a steady paycheck.
Now you get your book learning so you can work your way up at the A&P and learn how to fix cars or build houses and get your trade. This way you got something can't nobody take away from you.
He had the same conversation with me. He could get me on at the water department. He said, you know, I could be a supervisor in 25 years.
His mother was the dreamer. She encouraged his creative side and supported his decision to go to acting school, even when it seemed risky.
My mother could see further, you know. No, he's got to get an education, he's got to go to college, and, you know, he couldn't see that far.
Having the idea of my father being, you know, just a complete realist, just in the streets, and my mother having this idea of being a dreamer, that was implanted in me first. That's just DNA, you know, who I am.
His father was a realist who pushed him towards responsibility and work. He struggled to understand why success in music wasn't happening fast enough. But like Denzel, he had a mother who believed deeply in his potential. That balance of discipline and belief became the foundation for the artist they would become.
You already know what I'm going to tell you. You got the gift.
The moment that truly set them on their paths came from almost spiritual encounters with older women who were almost like angels.
I was in my mother's beauty shop.
Right.
And I was looking in the mirror, and I saw a woman sitting across the room from me.
Every time I looked up, she was looking at me, just looking me in the eye. March 27, 1975, she said, boy, you are gonna travel the world and speak to millions of people.
This woman's words were so powerful that he carried the piece of paper she gave him for years afterwards.
It's the God's honest truth. I got the piece of paper. I keep it with me all the time.
The woman I tell you about, the prophecy, that was 30 years, that will be 30 years ago next week.
Kendrick had his moment during one of the darkest nights of his youth.
My homeboy had just got killed, and I remember us just walking to the store. Older woman, she had asked us, well, she's like, you believe in God? We was like, yeah. You know, and at that moment, she said this prayer over us, and she said, if you accept Jesus in your heart right now, then you will enter the kingdom of heaven.
That encounter stayed with him for years and became the prayer that opens his album Good Kid, Mad City. It was the moment he decided to step away from the streets and focus on the one thing he knew he was truly gifted at.
That moment, it let me know, like, man, I gotta do something else. or else I'm gonna be the homie down the block.
I don't think if I ever found light through music, which was so positive, I probably ended up just like, the people I grew up with.
Once they decided to take their gifts seriously, the transformation was immediate. Almost instantly, they knew they wanted to be the greatest at what they do.
As a college junior in his first acting class, Denzel boldly told his classmates that he wanted to be the best actor in the world.
You know, everybody kind of turned around. You know, you want to do what? You want to be what? I don't know. It was kind of a naive thing to say, but that's how I felt. I said, well, I'm going to do acting. I just want to be the best.
I don't know what era everybody else come from, but when I listened, man. Like,
they a lot of
when I heard these artists say they're the best coming up, I said, I'm not doing it to have a good.
Yo, this is an amazing video. I didn't know how much alike they actually was. Drop it in the comments, y'all. Make sure y'all hit that like button. It's a dope video.
Song or one good rap. To do it every time, you have to challenge yourself and you have to confirm to yourself that you're the best, period.
Denzel became known for his method-like approach to acting. He doesn't play characters, he becomes them. For Malcolm X, he lived like him for a whole year.
Denzel told me, I want to be in a place where the spirit of Malcolm come into me, because that doesn't happen automatically. Yeah, he worked for a year for that.
I have to learn how to speak Arabic. I have to learn how to read the Quran. he became a student of Malcolm. It's more than just us dyeing his hair red or putting on the glasses or the voice.
Depending on the character he takes on, he prepares by studying the emotional core of the character, focusing on who the person is on the inside rather than just copying their behavior.
It starts from the inside out. And it's not like, oh, let me create this look and then that'll help me. I know he's a bit awkward, doesn't have any relationships, lonely. Why? I kept saying, why? What's wrong? And why? And you start to build the character.
Sometimes he performs actions on camera he can't explain himself because they weren't conscious choices that were born out of technique. They came from actually inhabiting a character's spirit.
And when we shot that scene, King Kong, that was him. That was all him.
I'm the man up in this piece. King Kong ain't got shit on me.
He came up with the line. He came over to me afterwards and said, I don't even know where that came from. In fact, I got one take of that.
I'm gonna call cut, but he keeps going. And he kept going for another 5 minutes. And the stuff that he said was better than Malcolm's words. And Denzel, that was cool. But where did that come from? I mean, just...
Kendrick approaches music the same way. Long before he steps into the studio, he's already imagined the emotions the album will be built on.
It started from just a whole bunch of premeditated thoughts. The process of me thinking about the ideas and what I want to say next. It's something I thought about for a long time before I even got in the studio. What I wanted to do, what I wanted to sound like, what message I wanted to get across into it.
First, he writes and thinks deeply about what he wants to say and what emotions he needs to bring out of himself to say it honestly.
And in order to make the next project, it's going to take a whole lot of preparation. For me, it's so much of a spiritual process in making the album. I gotta really feel connected to the music. I gotta feel connected to what I'm talking about. And that can drain you, know, because you pull in all these different emotions out.
And then in the studio, he fully becomes that version, switching voices and emotions like an actor in a role.
I've always been heavy on vocal tone and you manipulate your voice because different tones for me just gives off different expressions.
It is his version of method acting applied to sound. He doesn't just make songs, he builds entire worlds for his projects. Their intensity on set and in the studio is legendary.
He then at one point went into the studio booth and like closed the door and like I can hear him like yelling his verse in his head.
Just committing it.
He's just really committing it. You could tell he put his all into it. It wasn't just a random Kendrick Lamar verse.
People who have worked with them describe the same habits. They're the first to arrive, last to leave, no shortcuts and no half measures.
You would show up early and in the dark to rehearse?
Well, it was in the dark because it was 4 a.m. You know, I would just get there early and just run the line.
I've never showed up to set and had the artist be there before me. He was just out there sitting on the curb waiting for all the trucks to come in.
What?
But that's how excited he was about the process of making a music video. He was just one of those people that wanted to be there every second of the shoot.
Denzel shows up razor focused and forces everyone around him to elevate. He's said to be so intense on set that it scares people, simply because of how immersed he is into his character. Kendrick is just as intense in the studio.
Kendrick he put the mic out, said, you want to go in the booth, bro? He's like, no. I want to record right now. As we write, he's writing right now.
He's borderline maniacal and obsessive about every little detail. And he puts in so much effort that naturally makes everyone around him give their 100%.
I don't sleep, and my team know they can't sleep. I just have to be there for everything, man. You know, sometimes I drive myself crazy.
I remember working on that treatment and going over and meeting with Kendrick and Dave. Like, I remember being like, whoa, man, like I've never had anybody challenge me like this.
Probably owed to Kendrick challenging this element out of us. It's like, I think Kendrick definitely challenged us. Like, it was one of those moments where it's like, you come to him with an idea and we're like, we can save money if we do this. And he's like, nah.
Me and Dave, we sit in the trenches all day ever since High Power video. 16 motherfucking hours. We gonna edit that bitch to death.
He's all about discipline and obedience. It doesn't matter what the task is. What matters is the intensity and consistency.
The best word to describe for me, it's an album about my own self-discipline. That's my favorite word, discipline, you know, and obedience.
Despite their immense success, neither Kendrick nor Denzel has any real interest in fame. In fact, they avoid it.
You've been in denial about your fame, Denzel.
You know, Oprah, I never wanted to be famous, to be quite honest. Never wanted to be famous. I wanted to be good at what I do. I still don't want to be famous.
I find it very interesting that a young guy like you, in this era that's all about celebrity, you don't seem to chase fame at all.
No, I thought I wanted to. It wasn't confirmation for me.
You rarely see them in the public eye unless the moment directly involves their work. Otherwise, they disappear from the public and go back to their actual lives, their families, and back to making art.
Some of your choices aren't necessarily based upon, to me it doesn't seem that they're based upon what's going to be popular.
Well, I'm an artist. I'm not I'm called a movie star, but I'm an actor.
What makes both men rare is their willingness to make decisions that most people in their industries would never dare make. Denzel turned down blockbuster roles, including major films that could have catapulted him into instant superstardom. He has even walked away from $20 million payouts to go perform in plays for literally no money.
Why would an actor who makes millions for one movie risk his reputation by taking a role that pays $1,700 a week?
I thought it was a great opportunity to get back on the stage, to get back to my roots.
Kendrick has always operated with the same conviction. When Drake tried to give him the song Effin' Problems, he rejected it because it didn't fit his album narrative. He also declined to put Lady Gaga, then one of the biggest artists on earth, on the song for the same reason.
You know, another big decision was Don't Kill My Vibe. So Lady Gaga wanted to get on the record. And like we listening and comparing the original one to that, and it's like, man, we battling because like it's Lady Gaga.
Lady Gaga,
She's a huge pop star, span our audience, the whole thing. But it's like we had to stay true to the integrity of the music.
It takes a certain kind of artist to constantly step into new territory, to risk comfort for evolution. It's the combination of artistic purity and relentless ambition that makes them dangerous in the best way possible. With every new project, no matter how big or small, they force themselves into unfamiliar territory. For them, the challenge is what excites them.
And I get so few opportunities to get on the stage. So when I do, I really like tackling Shakespeare, which is the toughest and the most rewarding. It's like retooling.
I don't want to be something that people predict or know. I want to be something out of the ordinary, but something I connect to. That's the challenge for me. That's what gives me the drive and it gives me the hunger, just challenging and curiosity of wondering, damn, can I really kill this? This is far beyond me, or can I really connect?
Stepping outside of my comfort zone and mastering it. That excites me. When I feel like I've accomplished that, it just keeps the hunger for more going. Like I don't feel I can ever stop.
The pursuit of something that seems impossible is the obsession. You see it in Denzel's willingness to play Malcolm X, taking on challenging roles like Othello and Julius Caesar, and then stretching himself even further by directing and acting at the same time.
When the second album came, it was completely unexpected.
Yeah,
like nobody was expecting you to make that.
Yeah, definitely. And I knew from the jump that was going to be a challenge, for my listeners' ear. But if I'm challenging myself in the studio, I want to challenge you as well.
Kendrick performing at the Super Bowl and intentionally refusing the typical catalog of hits approach is the perfect example. He performed an unreleased snippet, something raw and completely unconventional for the biggest stage in the world. That level of boldness is the essence of a true artist doing what they want, not what the industry expects. Their art has never been driven by vanity either. What pushes them isn't really trying to get applause. It's what the work can do for the people.
First of all, I hope that it can be a healing force, a positive force to bring people together. That's my desire. But I hope it will also lead people to think for themselves, make decisions for themselves.
I put that through my music to give game to the kids that it's not being taught in them schools. It's up to me.
I wrote a record for the homies that's in the penitentiary right now. And I also wrote a record for these kids that come up to my show with these slashes on their wrists, saying they don't want to live no more.
Both Denzel and Kendrick create with intention, with a sense of duty, with a deep understanding that their gifts are meant to reach further than themselves. The last thing that connects Denzel and Kendrick is the deep relationship with spirituality.
Put God first. Put God first in everything you do. Everything that I have is by the grace of God. Understand that.
You got somebody special behind your corner and all around you, and that's God. Period. He's right there with you. He's talking to you. All you got to do is talk back. I walk on the beach every day, and I'm talking to God. I'm just talking. Like he the homie. I swear to God, I put that on my grandmama grave. I talk to him.
In my prayer, I said, Lord, everybody's singing about the face of God. They can see your face, and I want to see your face. And while I was saying, I want to see your face, I heard, turn to your left. I turned to my left. I picked up on my phone, and I went, shh.
Both men speak openly about God, not as a performative gesture, but as a foundation in their lives and their work.
Yo, shout out, bro. This was amazing, yo. Shout out, bro. That was amazing. And yeah, they both do speak on God heavily. I'm big into God. I always said I had a one-to-one connection with God, and I talk to God like the bro also. So shout out Kendrick and Denzel Washington. It's crazy how many parallels they had. Like just growing up, with the mother who was a dreamer and the father who was more of, this steady rock who could see, but they couldn't see as far, but they kept him out of trouble. And then the mother who actually stretched their vision to actually see further within their dreams, which I believe every kid needs. Because I believe like you could take a few different paths. Like you can go the father's route where, you're more a part of the system, part of the matrix, and you work or get a career or something like that. Or you could take the route that they mothers chose where you believe in your dreams, which is a lot harder, but it's a lot more rewarding if you take that route. So shout out, bro, for making this video. This was probably the dopest video I seen in a little while. All right, so y'all drop it in the comments. Let me know what y'all thought the dopest parallel was, like the dopest comparison between the two. I'm gonna be in them comments. I'm gonna chop it up with y'all. It's your boy Jet Ski G. If ain't nobody told you they love y'all, you know I love y'all. Also, I'm gonna drop another banger. It's gonna be right here. This banger right here. Make sure y'all click this video right here. I'm gonna catch y'all in the next video. I'm out, y'all.